Hello, everyone. We're waiting for a couple more minutes for others to join. It's been a very busy day for disability. So far, started 10 o'clock last night, and it's going to end 10 o'clock tonight. Purple Space is doing a 24-hour marathon sessions across the globe, and they are talking about disability inclusion. And it seems that the subject matter has become extremely popular among the employers across the globe. So I think it's very timely to have this session with you, Robert. I believe people have joined. Is there anybody else you think will join? Connor?
We was expecting a few more, but if you want to carry on,
okay,
and yeah, they'll join in due course.
I will do. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar again. Just a housekeeping. We have captioning, so it's just using Interact Streamer, which is the subject of today's webinar. This is live captioning and live translation tool. We've invited Robert from US to help us to present this one because it's an amazing tool. And so I would like to pass this to Robert, and so let him introduce himself and take it forward. Thank you very much. Any problems, please put a message in our text box, and any questions, by all means, put it in and we'll answer it. Thank you.
Yeah,
over to you, Robert.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for setting this up. Certainly appreciate the chance to talk a little bit about what we're doing here to, as Nasser was just saying there, the ability to improve accessibility for all individuals. And so we'll demonstrate a little bit of Streamer and answer any questions that you may have and go over the capabilities. So there's a lot going on here, and let me go ahead and try and share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing here. And so we'll start with that. And so at this point, got a lot of, with Zoom, you end up with so many screens jumping up at you. It's always kind of hard to coordinate everything. All right. So can you see my screen there? The PowerPoint slide?
Yes, we can. Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and turn on my captioning. So first thing I'm going to do is show you how you start Streamer. So if you were a professor or something like this, what you're going to do is set up a desktop icon. So I have one right here on the far left side. I can pull this over a little bit. And all I need to do to start using Streamer once I've configured it is click on that desktop icon. And when I do that, it's going to launch it, and it's going to put me in my particular room. So in this case, we're in a room called Microlink. And now everything that I'm saying is being captioned. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to increase the font size a little bit here, make this a little bit bigger for you. Oops, excuse me. There we go. And now everything that I'm saying is indeed being captioned. I'll move this up a bit. And so you can see that this is happening in real time. Now, in order to use Streamer, again, you just click on that desktop icon, and that's going to put you directly in your particular room that you're going to be using. And then everything that you say will be captioned. It's that simple. So far easier, for example, than what you had to do with this Zoom meeting, where there were a URL that got sent out, and you got put in a waiting room and then eventually placed into the room. What's happened with Zoom is because it was not designed in the first place to be private and secure, they put all these band-aids on it, and it's getting a little more complicated each time because people are breaking into it. With Streamer, it's quite the opposite. And so we started developing this system in partnership with the U.S. Marine Corps because they needed a very much private and secure system that they could use in their battlefield settings, in their theater settings. And so from the start, Streamer has designed very much to be private and secure. This is not an afterthought. This is something that's built into the system itself. So what you're seeing here are some slides. I'll step you through those real quick. If you are using the subtitle menu within Zoom, you'll be able to see the captioning on the bottom. So within Zoom, you should see a menu option there called closed captioning. And if you click on that, you will have the show subtitles option, and you'll be able to see the captioning that's being generated by Streamer. Talk a little bit about life before COVID, back when we used to be able to actually get on planes and fly places and see people. These days, at least in the US here, we're pretty locked down still. But the last trip I took was with NASA, and we spent some time in Vienna, and then I spent another week in Geneva, so very nice times. But during the Vienna event, what we were doing is working with a group called the Zero Project. These are affiliated with the United Nations. And the Zero Project did a exhaustive testing of the system over the course of that week, with lots of speakers. And as a result of that testing, at the end of the week, they concluded that they were going to use Streamer from then on for their gatherings, for their assemblies. And that's kind of as big of a endorsement as you can get, where you have a subchapter of the United Nations that's done an exhaustive evaluation of your system. And at the end of the week, they come back and say, yeah, we're going to use Streamer from now on. And so that just evinces a little bit of the accuracy that you have with respect to Streamer captioning and with the translation capabilities as well. As I mentioned, Streamer very much private and secure. This is not an afterthought. This is very much designed in from the beginning. So whatever sort of requirements you have in terms of privacy, I'm very confident we'll be able to meet those for you. And so some US standards here, but certainly there's UK standards in terms of what you need for privacy and ensuring data integrity and that nobody else has access to your data. With Streamer, again, that is designed from the beginning, certainly not an afterthought. Since Streamer is a cloud-based application that runs as a website versus a download and install, it's going to run on basically anything that can connect to the internet. That uses a browser to connect to the internet. I guess I should clarify that. But whatever you might have, Chromebooks, iPads, iPhones, laptops, it's going to be able to run that very easily. And it's going to run in parallel with whatever application that you may be using. So currently we're using Zoom. And again, if you click on that closed caption menu within Zoom and select the show subtitles, you'll be able to see the live captioning that's being generated by Streamer right now. But again, this is going to work with whatever platform that you're using. It's going to be able to run in parallel. Streamer can happily run in the background, and so it does not need to be in the forefront of your computer screen. So how can you use it? So lots of different applications that you can see here. Basically any situation where somebody is talking. And so here I think we're more focused on classroom lectures and student situations. So we'll kind of focus on that. But definitely any type of situation where you are having a conversation, be it in most any language, you're going to be able to use Streamer to caption and translate and take notes of that event. So obviously that includes a one-to-one conversation. So if you're just having a private conversation with another individual, we have you covered there. Group conversations. And so if you do have multiple people participating in the conversation, again, Streamer is going to caption everything that everybody is saying. And depending on you configure it, it is going to identify each person that is speaking, and people do not need to take turns speaking. And let me mention that a little bit. It's very common in meetings for multiple people to be talking at the same time. And it's not that they're being rude, that they're speaking over somebody. But as one individual is speaking, you'll have others give what we call sociable feedback. Words like yes, sure, okay. And things like that, we are going to be able to caption. And so again, you do not need to take turns speaking. Everybody can be speaking, and whatever they're saying is going to be captioned simultaneously. Certainly classrooms, so be it a remote situation like we are right now, where we're using Zoom, or an in-person situation where students are on campus. We're going to be able to caption that lecture. The students, as they are listening to the lecture, are going to be able to add their private and personal notes to their copy of the transcript. So it's when you add a note, it's not public, nobody else sees it. Again, everything that we're doing is very much private and secure. So with a student, they could add their own personal notes to that transcript, something like study this for the test, or ask John about this, or I didn't understand, ask the professor. Any sort of a note that they want to add, they can do. Presentation seminars. So here we have a presentation where you can obviously use it. And we are working with the World Cup with the potential of using Streamer in the stadium events. So now we're talking, 50,000 people that will be viewing the system. And because of the language translation capabilities, certainly we can deploy this on a global corporate scale. So that's a pretty broad area that we have going. And again, to use it all you need to do is click on that desktop icon. So it's that simple to make it all happen. All right. So let's talk a little bit about captioning classroom instructions. So again, the professor is just going to click on a desktop icon. And so with all the COVID situation going on and the additional burden being placed on teachers and professors and all the steps that they need to do using Zoom or WebEx or whatever the tool is, adding another element to their to-do list this and you're
I'm
going to
not
be
sure
able
if
to
I'm
see
here.
that.
Rob, sorry, you froze a bit there. I'm not sure everyone had the same experience.
Oh, yeah, that's Zoom. Zoom freezes quite a bit. So hopefully I'm back. Can you see everything?
Yeah, all good.
Actually,
Okay.
actually, the captioning kept going while your
Yeah.
Zoom had froze, so your captioning was actually working. So it's the Zoom
Yeah.
that
So
froze.
yeah. So Streamer is solid, but Zoom does every now and then drop out on you. So the teacher just clicks on that desktop icon, and when they're ready, turns on their microphone, and the student does the same. And with that, then the student can add notes. So I'm going to get you a copy of these slides afterwards. And whenever there's this blue area here, you'll see a link that will show you more details about what I'm talking about. The student then downloads the transcript. They can save that in a variety of formats. That transcript will have their notes included with it, and they'll be able to clear that transcript and be ready for the next class. Quite simple to use. And so I do want to go over this concept of rooms again, because I kind of went over that fairly quickly, and it's an important concept to have. So with Streamer, what we have is this concept of rooms, and that's just where conversations occur. And so if you were on a campus building, there is a room that you would go into, and that's where the class lecture would be held. And so the same thing within Streamer, you go into a room, and that's where you're going to be able to view and see the captioning. So same sort of approach here. With each subscription, you're going to be given an additional room added to your lobby. Now, we also have a program where you get an unlimited number of rooms. So as a university, for one flat fixed fee, you can have as many rooms as you want. And so just keep that in mind, that each professor potentially, or each class, is going to have their own virtual room within Streamer, and that's where the captioning is going to occur.
Robert, does that apply to enterprises as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
it's not just education, it's also enterprise clients
That's
could
right.
do that. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And so we can have plans where you order individual rooms. In US dollars, it's roughly $10 a month in order to have a room. The more rooms you get, the lower the price becomes. Or what you can do is, again, pay one flat fee and have an unlimited number of rooms for an entire year. The way people access those rooms is with a password protected user account. And so it's always an individual password. So again, with Zoom, we had a global password that kind of everybody entered in order to get in. very much not secure. With Streamer, everybody has their own individual account and their own individual password. So much more secure. Accounts are free. You can create as many as desired. If again we're on a university setting, what we will do is create all the accounts for you. We're happy to do that. It's very common for a university to send us a listing of all the staff members, the professors plus individuals working, for example, at a financial aid center or a guidance center, whatever it might be, and we'll create all those accounts for you and make that happen. With that, now each classroom, if we're talking again a university setting, each class would indeed have their own Streamer room associated with it. A professor can enter that room by just again clicking on that desktop icon, and perhaps you have 3 professors that are jointly teaching this, and then you can have as many students as you want join you in that room to view the captioning. And again, there are no limits here. So if we go back to our stadium situation, we may have 50,000 people in this Streamer room. In a college campus, you know, we're talking much less than 50,000, but nonetheless, you get the idea that as many people as want can join you in that room. And again, to use it, all you do is click on that desktop icon. So let me close down this, get over to the captioning itself. So hopefully you can see that now. And if you notice, everything that I've been saying has been captioned in the background. And again, what you're looking at is Streamer itself. There is nobody typing in the background. This is all automated, so there's no human in the loop. Again, very much private and secure. Scroll through some of this. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So over on the right side, what you see is the names of the individuals that are currently in this room. And so you can see everybody here. These are the room owners, which means those individuals have a little more, well, actually quite a bit more permissions within the room. As the owner of the room, they can clear the transcript. They can invite others to come into the room. They can also kick people out of the room. And then you have individuals that are just users. And so those are potentially students that would come into the room, and they'll be able to view the captioning and be able to see it this way. Down at the bottom here, what I have is various phrases that I have entered into the system. So I'll scroll up. And in my case, I have a lot of commands. I'm going to skip over that and jump down here to the bottom. And here you can see various phrases that I've created that I can double click. And when I do, that gets entered directly into the transcript. And so if I don't understand something that the professor is saying, I'm just going to double click on that. And when I do, that gets entered into my personal copy of the transcript. So it's very easy for a student to add these notes or tags to their copy of the transcript. They can create their own note categories, edit them. They could type one from scratch if they want to versus using these fixed ones. When you're doing that, you're obviously no longer listening to the professor, so we kind of frown on that. But certainly they can do that. Create their own customized phrases, either in advance or do that on the fly. At the end of the lecture, they're going to come up here and go to Streamer settings and click on the download transcript. And when they do that, they're going to be able to select the format. So I prefer to use Word, so I'll go ahead and do that. And then we also have this option of including a summary. And so what we're going to do, and they can select long, medium, or short, is the software is going to go through all that transcript and identify the highlights. So it's going to automatically identify what we feel are the important aspects of that lecture, and it's going to include that as a summary that's appended to the top of the transcript. So in this case, I'll go ahead and pick short. So very concise. And when I download that, then it's going to be saved to wherever I want it to be saved. So in this case, I guess I'll go to my desktop and I'll go ahead and save that. And so what I have now is a copy of the transcript, and I'll go ahead and open that up. And that's going to open on my other screen. So I'll drag it over here. Here we go. And here then is that copy of the transcript of everything that we've been saying so far today. And here you can see the individuals, the names are identified. And so here's my name, for example. And then if we scroll down, you'll be able to see those notes that I inserted. Right here they are. And so again, very easy to save that transcript and to be able to use it as notes for your class lecture. So those are some of the basic capabilities. Let me get to some of the more advanced features here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the overlay tool. And let's see. Okay, so that's at the top here. I'm going to move things around a little bit so I can make that easier for you to see it. But what we have here is an overlay tool. And this is a tool that is going to superimpose the captioning on top of whatever you're displaying. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint slides here and kind of show you how that works. And what you can see now is at the very top of the screen that the captioning is superimposed on top of, in this case, my PowerPoint slides. So instead of viewing the captioning in the streamer window itself, I have the option of viewing it this way. And what I've selected right now is, I guess, a light blue background. This is a translucent background. And if I want to, I can make that a solid background. I'll go ahead and do that right now. I think it'll be a little easier for you to see it if I make it a solid background. And I think I'll change that solid background to white. And I can change fonts, font size, this font spacing, anything like that. And so right now I just have black text on a white background. But certainly it's a very nice way to be able to view the captioning in your preferred mode. Let's go back to the streamer slides here. So what we're going to do when we set up your account for your university is we're going to create a main admin account. And that's an account that you're going to be able to access any sort of data that's being generated by your system. So it is an all-powerful account. It's not an account that you really want to share with other individuals. This is an account where you can view all the rooms associated with your site. So be it a corporation or a school district or a university, this is your all-powerful admin account that you are going to use to assign rooms to situations and individuals, to set all your usage and access permissions. So for example, do you want to give people the ability to download or clear the transcript? This is where you can set that. So again, this is an all-powerful account, and we can create duplicates of this account, but this is not an account you would give to professors or employees or students or something like this. This is something you're going to reserve for your IT team. What you are going to give to the individuals is a personal account, and they're going to use that to log into their particular room. So when they log in, they're only going to see the rooms that they have access to. They're not going to see all the 1,000 rooms that are associated with your university or with your corporation or whatever your government agency might be. They're only going to see the rooms that they personally have access to. And so very nice feature going on there. We also have the ability to create shared accounts. So if you are having a global event, as Nasser was talking about, the disability events that are going on today, you could set up a shared account where you can have as many people as you want log in using that singular shared account. When you set that up, the individuals are only going to be able to view the captioning. They're not going to be able to add to it unless you give them that permission. But by default, a shared account, they're locked from being able to change the password or the language or anything like that. And again, I want to emphasize this point. If you're doing a large scale system, we're going to create all the accounts for you. We're happy to do that for you. And so every staff member that you have, every employee, we are going to create an account for them, and we can do that quite quickly with our tools. It does take us, I guess right now there's a little bit of a backlog, so it's going to take us probably a good 24 hours to do that. But we can create, if you have 10,000 employees, we can create that for you in about 24 hours. We're also going to be able to assign rooms to individuals and situations. So let's go back to the university setting again. Typically what we do is give each professor their own private and personal room. And then if you want, we will create a room for each class that they teach. And so if they have geology 101, we're going to have a class for that. And any student that wants to view the captioning for that class will be able to jump into that streamer room, and they'll be able to see that in real time. So very nice features going on there. Let's see, some other things going on here that people ask about. So group discussions. So definitely if you're in a conference room meeting and you have employees around the table, we're going to be able to caption what everybody says and identify who is speaking at any given moment. Same thing for students that we're having perhaps discussing a book that they read or some topic. We're going to be able to caption everything that everybody is saying and do so in multiple languages. And so if one of these individuals speaks Vietnamese, another Korean, a third Arabic, we're going to be able to caption everything that they're saying and present it to each individual in their preferred language. So again, this goes far beyond just bidirectional translation. Here we're doing multiple languages simultaneously. So if you remember at the very beginning, I talked about the United Nations and being able to translate those proceedings. And so definitely that's what we do. We have the ability to do simultaneous multilingual translation. People will be able to both see the translation in their preferred language, and if they want, hear it spoken out loud. By the way, in an appropriate voice. So for example, if I'm speaking, my translated voice is going to sound similar to mine. And so again, just kind of a nice little additional step that we do to make that barrier be removed, make communication as seamless as possible. So again, note-taking, demonstrated the ability to add personal notes to the live transcript. I do want to emphasize that the students or the employees, the individuals, can create their own note categories. So by default, we're going to have some ones set up for you. When we create all your accounts, you could have a baseline of notes that you think individuals would use, but they can customize them. They can edit them. They can create their own notes. It's very simple for them to be able to do that. And again, we'll get you a copy of these slides, and whenever you see this sort of a blue colored font, that's a link that you can dig into for more information. In addition to captioning and translation and note-taking, you can also use Streamer to send private notes to individuals. And so kind of a nice feature to be able to do that. And so if I go back to the Streamer slides, what you can see here is the captioning going on again. This has been running in the background, happily running in the background. If I wanted to, for example, send a private message to Nasser, I'll go ahead and type on that, click on his name, and then I can tell him, hi, how's it going? And that is a private message that only he is going to see. Anytime you send a private message, it's going to be stored up here in your notifications page. And with that, I can clear things eventually if I want to, but the person does not need to be logged into Streamer at the time that you send them that message. So again, kind of a nice feature. Let me go back to the PowerPoint slides. And so again, everything is saved in the notifications page. We also have various other features. We're kind of getting into more of the details here, but you as a administrator could set a welcome message that everybody's going to see every time they log in, and you have the ability to send out broadcast messages. And so if, for example, you have a event coming up that you want to advertise to individuals, an employee event, whatever it might be, you can go ahead and do that, and you'll be able to send a broadcast message, and everybody on your system is going to be able to see that. Document sharing. So if you want to share documents with people participating in your Streamer event, all you need to do is drag and drop that. So if, for example, we're in an in-campus situation where instead of remote, everybody is in the particular room and the professor wants to share a document with all the students. So in that scenario, you're not using Zoom anymore because we're in person. All they need to do is drag and drop that document into the Streamer window, and they're going to be able to have that be shared with everybody. Let me go ahead and show you Whoops, let me go ahead and show you how that works. Here we go. There we go. So I have some documents over on the side here, and if I click on one of those, find my cursor, there it is. I can just drag that into the room. And when I do that, click attach and then go ahead and send that. And now everybody that's in the streamer room will have that particular document. So pretty easy to use that. Again, just drag and drop, and I can do that for pretty much anything I want, be it videos or shrink that down a little. Use that for videos or photographs or in this case documents, any of the above. We're going to make that shared with everybody that's in there. So again, just drag and drop. You can also pick individuals. So if you only want a particular individual to see that document, you can go ahead and do that. If you have an individual that is nonverbal, you can use Streamer as a speech generation tool. The speech is going to be generated in a personalized voice, so it's going to be custom for that particular individual. You can type phrases entirely from scratch, but that takes a lot of time. And so we have this concept called Phrase Builder. I guess I won't really demonstrate that right now, but it makes it easy to quickly say what you want to say. So you enter shortcuts and such, and so much faster than typing an entire sentence out. And then it's going to be spoken aloud in whatever voice you have selected and directly on everybody's system. And that last one is a really nice little feature. In a lot of speech generation devices, what you need is a really loud speaker that you're wearing on your hip or something like that that consumes a lot of batteries and such. With Streamer, what we've done is set it up so that whatever you are speaking is going to be stated on everybody else's device. And so that way you don't need to carry around that bulky speaker. It's going to be streamed directly to the other individuals, and they're going to be able to hear what you're saying. So I kind of went over that pretty fast. But definitely if that's a need for you, that you want to support people that are nonverbal, let us know, and we'll be able to step you through that in more detail and show you all the features of that speech generation system. Saving transcripts, I showed you that earlier. Where it is immediately available to users. There's no concept of having to wait a day in order to get that transcript sent to you, which is kind of strange that you generate a transcript, but then you have to wait to get it. In this case, it is immediately there. When you save your transcript, it's going to have your notes, your personal private notes. Nobody else is going to see those. Also, we have a lot of tools. Getting back to security, there's a feature called Auto Clear. So at the end of the lecture, when everybody leaves the room, you can set up your system to automatically clear the transcript so that it's ready for the next user. Very common in an employee type situation in a corporation where you're going to have a meeting, and at the end of that meeting, when everybody leaves, you want to make sure that you have removed any sort of record of that conversation so that the next group in doesn't see what may be classified or confidential information. So with Streamer, again, security very seriously is taken, and so you have the ability to automatically clear that at the end. You can also auto clear every 10 minutes. You could auto clear at 1 a.m. in the morning, so all your rooms are cleared at that point. You can also auto clear immediately, and so each time a new sentence is spoken, that old sentence is gone forever. And so if you're watching the show subtitles right now with Zoom, you can kind of see how that works. That same sort of flavor, or if you watch captioning on a television, so Streamer will do that same thing with the auto clear. You can enable or block the ability to download. Very easy to do that. So if you're not comfortable with somebody having the ability to download the transcript, you can turn that off. And again, multiple formats that we do preserve for you or allow for you to use that. So lots going on there. Some next steps. And so definitely we have a lot of getting started tutorials, and what you see here on the bottom side is depending on your particular setting. We have some links specifically put together for you. For example, if you are in a school type situation, here's a particular link that you could use. I'll Scroll down here a little bit. But where I'm at right now is streamer.solutions click to caption. And what we've done here is put together tutorial videos specifically for classroom type situations. So if that's where you're at, certainly please take a look at streamer.solutions click to caption. And what you're going to see is a short video here, kind of short, it's about 10 minutes long, for the admin team. And this is going to step you through everything that you need to know from an admin perspective on how to use Streamer. And again, if you watch this video, it's going to talk about creating accounts and assigning rooms. We'll do all that for you. And so if you're doing a large deployment, we're going to create all those accounts. So it takes about 30 seconds to create an account and assign it to a room. So if you're doing it for just 10 people, not a big deal. But if you're doing it for 3,000 people, that would be a big deal. And so we're happy to do that for you. Then we have one for professors and teachers. It's a shorter video that's going to show them how to use the system, and one specifically for the students. And here we show them how to use the system, including how to create those notes and download the transcript and things like that. So again, back to the links. Depending on your situation, we have video tutorials set up specifically to help you get started. Next steps. So certainly we encourage you to try the system. So if you go to this particular link, what you're going to be shown is a form similar to the one on the right here. And you're going to be able to sign up for a trial. There is no credit card involved here. This is not one of those deals where you're going to get a free 30-day trial and at the end of 30 days be automatically charged if you forget to cancel your subscription. I really don't like that when firms do that, so we don't do that. What you have here is just a 30-day trial with no credit card, no risk whatsoever. At the end of 30 days, if you do want to continue using the system, then you would pay a subscription. But if you don't, you can just let it expire, and it will expire on its own. All you need to do is fill in the form, pretty short here. We do need a valid email address, so we can send you the login information. Again, every account is password protected, and so we are going to email you your particular password and account that gets set up for you. So go ahead and do that. If you're signing up as a school, what we recommend is the name of your Streamer account be the name of your university or school district followed by -admin. It just makes life a little bit simpler, than it meshes with all the video tutorials we have. And then the name of your first Streamer room, something like the name of your corporation followed by -01. And again, it just makes it simpler. So that's sort of our recommendation. You can name it whatever you want. If you're setting one up just for yourself, just go ahead and use your last name or something like that. But again, if you're setting it up for a school or something, it's probably best to follow this procedure: the -admin for your name and the -01 for your first Streamer room. And remember to click on the link to subscribe at the bottom of that form. And what we'll do is set up your system. And what you're going to get is your first Streamer room. And that's going to show up in your lobby. And as you grow your system, you can add additional rooms to the lobby. We're also going to give you that admin account. And you're going to use that to manage all access and privacy settings for your rooms. And again, completely free. This is a trial that's going to be able to last 30 days for you. With that, you're going to have unlimited captioning and translation. So unlike other systems where you have to sort of keep track of the minutes you use it, or how many hours you have, or you're going to get billed if you start going over some set amount, or worse yet, your system's just going to shut down, and right when you count on wanting it to be there, you're going to exceed your minutes, and you're not going to be able to use it. All sorts of headaches. We try to make life very simple for you. So it's unlimited captioning and translation. There are no per session fees or per minute fees or per minute limits or anything like that. You can use your system as often as you want with as many people as you want without any limitations. And so again, we're making it very simple for you. You have an unlimited number of user accounts. So again, what we're doing is setting up your first room. If you remember the slide where we talked about the room, and then you can have people join you in that room using user accounts. You are encouraged to share your subscription, your trial, with as many people as you want. And so if you have just few individuals, that's fine. If you have a few thousand individuals that want to join you in your room, that's even better. So again, we encourage you to share your subscription with others. No limits whatsoever. The cost, I'm going to go over this pretty quickly because again, different ways of buying it, but you can get kind of the rough idea of the price in US dollars. So roughly $10 a month, 10 pounds a month. And again, there's no limitations here whatsoever. And as you're buying multiple rooms, the price drops substantially. So a huge discount when you start buying them. And then we will follow up with you and talk about getting a campus-wide or a corporate-wide account where you can have an unlimited number of rooms. So for one flat fixed fee, we would create as many rooms as you want, giving everybody access to unlimited captioning, translation, and note-taking services. And again, a flat fixed fee that you're going to pay upfront and be able to have as many rooms as you want throughout the course of the next year, that calendar year. So again, we're going to create all the rooms for you. We're going to create all the accounts that you want. So an overall admin account, and perhaps you want sub-admin accounts, one for each building or such, or department, whatever it might be. We're happy to create all those for you, and we'll assign all the rooms and get everything integrated with whatever single sign-on system you may have. So I've kind of rambled here for a little bit. Here's our contact information, but I'm really going to encourage you to contact the folks at Microlink. They're going to be your first source of information. We're happy to support you if some more technical issue comes up or something like that. We're available, but we're also 7 hours difference in terms of time zone here. So by far, we're going to recommend that you go to the folks at Microlink first. Okay.
Okay,
So
Robert.
let me wrap up there and get back to the streamer account, and we'll show that. All right.
Thank you, Robert. That's been great. Fantastic. One question, burning question, is security. And the second one is using this for captioning, taking notes from recordings, and like a live transcription from any stream. So could you explain the security aspect? Because I know there are lots of video conferences going on, and not everyone uses Teams, or not everyone uses Zoom, but they need something that could be universally transcribing everything going on. Have you got any development going on that area? So you don't have to just use this for Zoom, or can we use it for WebEx, or even for Teams or Google? And the second part is about data security, which obviously is important for everything we do.
Yeah, and so right now you can see how, just want to point out real quick, that what you see is the name of the person who is speaking, and over here is the caption itself, and looks like Nasser does not have an avatar for himself, but if he did, you would see the picture of the person who is speaking as well. So again, security is not an afterthought with streamers. Security is designed into the system. Everything that's being stated here is being fully encrypted in all directions. So 64-bit encryption. So even if somebody were to go through the effort of intercepting the packets on servers, which is a possibility, it's just going to be gibberish. They're not going to be able to hack through a 64-bit encryption.
Actually, I was more concerned about AI security. People, don't they do data mining of what you say and then use that information? So how is your system using this?
And so it's fairly common. For example, Apple is anytime you use a microphone on a Safari browser, Apple records that information. Same thing with Microsoft. There's a reason Microsoft put translation into their PowerPoint slides, because that way they have access to everything that you're saying in that PowerPoint meeting. When you agree to their terms, what you are doing is allowing them to listen in on the conversation, if you will. They're generating a voice recording that is saved in their files forever. And they're able then, as NASA is saying, to use various artificial intelligence to scroll through that data and acquire information. And then they make money they monetize that information by selling that, for example, to advertisers. And so if, for example, you were using Microsoft captioning system and you talk about something that you've never talked about before in your life, maybe you're going to talk about fishing gear. Something like that. All of a sudden in your Facebook feeds, you're going to start seeing advertisements for fishing gear. And it's just an example of what they're doing by listening in on that data and being able to monetize what you're saying. And that's where they make their money. With Streamer, we do not do that. So we do not generate a voice recording of what you're saying. We generate a caption. You alone control all access to that captioning. And so we do not see it. We do not have the ability to see it. The only people that can see it are the ones that you have allowed access to your particular room. And when you clear the transcript, it is gone forever. So if you clear the transcript from your Streamer room, there is no backup. About once a week, I get a panic phone call from somebody who has accidentally deleted some conversation that they desperately needed, and they want us to give them a copy of it from our backups, and it does not exist. And so when you clear it, there is no undo command because it is your data alone. We do not archive it. We do not save it. We do not share your data with others so that they can monetize it and make money off it and sell it to others. And so there is a saying that if you're using a free product, you are the product, because what they're doing is collecting that information and making money from it.
I'm sure Microsoft would dispute that they use that data in that way, but as you quite rightly said, it's in their possession, and what they do with it, I'm sure they'll have ways of getting consent from their enterprise clients, how they use the data. But certainly it's a point to consider when you're buying any platforms that is capturing your voice and then convert it to text. There's got to be something that must be happening to it.
Yeah, and take concern about reading the with privacy being a concern of individuals. Do dig a little bit deeper into the various permissions that you're giving that particular vendor and how they're going to utilize your data.
No, for individuals, I agree with you. As I said, I don't know enough about the corporate and enterprises. I'm sure I will hear back from one of our audience here, but certainly the point you've raised is quite valid, that one needs to look into this a bit further.
Yeah, and so just make sure that if privacy and security are important to you, that you do take a little bit of time to read those terms and conditions and see what's happening there.
Well, I don't doubt for 1 minute the private users do have no say unless you actually read several pages of security and privacy consent, and you don't even understand the language, you sign to anything. That's for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes it's buried pretty deeply, and you have to get to page 4 with some hyperlink that says, we are indeed saving and archiving your data and potentially selling it to others.
Well, thank you for that. That's very useful.
Yeah, in terms of being able to use this system, so you can use it both for live situations and for recorded situations. And so if after the fact, so that you have a classroom lecture and you have generated a voice recording of that, and some student, let's say a day later, is watching a video recording of that lecture versus participating in it live. At that point, the video is now doing the speaking versus the professor, and Streamer is going to be able to hear what the video is saying, and Streamer won't know the difference whether it's a live person or whether it is the video talking. And so you're going to be able to caption that video in the same manner as what you were able to caption the live event. You're going to set it up a little bit differently. Because now potentially you're listening to the audio on your own computer versus a professor talking into a microphone like I am now. But it is going to be able to generate a what I'll call a live captioning of that pre-recorded video. So we're not saving the captioning that has previously been generated. As the student pulls up that video, we are going to caption it live for that particular situation. But you can use Streamer both in live events and in for videos or pre-recorded. Let's see.
Actually, that's actually very important for accessibility needs when you have millions of videos you've done in training and you don't have resources to caption them because of the legal requirements. So you're saying we can, hopefully with this development, you can pass all those and then you get transcription for it.
Yeah, and so if there's a pre-recorded video, if, for example, you have a library of videos that students or employees will watch, maybe a training video, something like that in a corporation, we're going to be able to caption that. And the individual is going to be able to caption that in whatever language they want. So if the video is in English and that particular individual would like to view the captioning in Arabic or Vietnamese or Korean or Japanese, whatever it might be, the software is going to be able to provide a live translation of that event. And also, if you want, be able to speak it out loud, so that individual would both be able to see it in Vietnamese and also hear it spoken aloud in Vietnamese. And so that's all built into the software. There are no additional add-ons that you have to charge, have to pay in order to get those abilities. Once you purchase your subscription, it includes all elements. So again, another thing that a lot of software companies do is they give you some sort of free app, and then in order to actually make it useful, you end up purchasing all these add-ons. You need the additional modules in order to make it really work for you. With Streamer, we don't do that. It's just one flat fee, and with that, you get all the capabilities that are built into it.
And the other important point about some of the strategies we recommend to people with disabilities: record the meeting on the either phone or on a digital recorder, and then take notes from it. So essentially, you can pass this through your Streamer, and they can automatically take the transcription. So it could be an aide memoir kind of thing that you don't need to go and take handwritten notes. You just simply record it and then let the machine do the rest.
Yeah, and we're going to generate that captioning for you, and they have the ability, as you mentioned, to add their own notes to it, and they can create their own notes and just go ahead and click that, and it's going to get inserted into their copy of the transcript right at that point. And so very simple to use this as a really nice note-taking system. You have the entire transcript plus the personal and private notes that you add to it during your classroom event.
It's very useful. Thank you for that.
Okay. What other sort of questions do we have?
Well, the questions I'm looking at, we haven't had any more questions. I've had some sent to me directly. So that's it. Well, as an update, you mentioned Zero Project, UN Zero Project. I'm glad to say today we've got the announcement. We have been a winner of the award as well for our innovative workplace adjustment, which is got recognition. So yeah, we'll be there this year.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with your product, we'll be there on this year is going to be virtual meeting. So hopefully
yes, yeah. Actually... So much has gone virtual now that that's the state of where we're at.
Absolutely. So well, it's going to be 2 products side by side. Thanks very much, Robert. It's been a great day, and I'll just invite anyone with any other questions. It seems that we are good. No other questions. So you've done a thorough job. Thank you.
All right. So the last thing I'll point out is that certainly I encourage you all to go to this particular link, and it's absolutely free. And with that, you'll be able to sign up for a 30-day trial. We have lots of individuals that over the holidays here sign up for a 30-day trial. So if you have a family gathering, again with the COVID constrictions, but if you do have a family gathering and perhaps you have elderly parents that would have difficulty hearing what everyone is saying, here you go. It's a free 30-day trial that you can use as often as you want, just to play around with Streamer, and go ahead and use it for the holidays. It's absolutely free, and we encourage you to do that. Okay,
Well,
thanks everybody.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you again, and have a nice day, as they say over there on the other side of the pond.
Yes, that I will. All right.
Thank you
Bye now,
again.
everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. And the recordings would be available as well if you need it. Thank you.